What's good? What's good? What's good, fans? Once again, I got my man Shawne Merriman with me, and we're gonna talk about some NFL action. We're gonna talk about LFX 6. We all the way to 6 now. We hitting double digits here pretty soon, big dog.
We will, man, and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Because we know we're definitely getting better.
yeah. That's a blessing to you guys, man, because the promotion just keep getting better and better. But before that, you just told me you moved to Vegas, but let's talk about how you became part owner of the Raiders and how. I mean, I talked to you the last time I talked to you. I guess I figured out that 2 days later. How'd that all go down? Talk to
Well,
us about that.
my part equity in the Raiders came in 2005, sweat equity.
Oh, whoa, there. Okay, that's fair.
No,
That's fair.
well, no, I have actually been in talks with some professional football leagues, not NFL, but I think you can kind of figure out the other one.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I definitely I love standing around the game, man, and if I get the opportunity to, I definitely would probably take a jump at it.
Okay, now how'd that go over with your Chargers family, man? Because you're an ambassador out here in Southern California.
What's that? No, it was no real talks over there. That was more of a kind of joking matter, but it's some seriousness and everything, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, well, that's true. That's true. But I mean, you got a lot of fans out here, people that still love you. I mean, you still an ambassador. They parade your name pretty big out here for the team and what have you.
yeah, no, for sure. I'll be at the game Sunday. I'm at every Charger. I'm a Charger for life.
Okay. Okay.
But I also said that if I have an opportunity to ever be a part owner or be involved in a NFL franchise or some other professional football league franchise, that I would definitely try to make that happen.
That's hard to pass up on. I got you. I got you. Sean, so if you can remember, man, take me back to your days playing. What was your aha moment? What was a moment that kind of I'm here. Now I'm here, whether you got blindsided back then, crackback blocks were legal. They're not legal no more. Whether it was
Right.
getting blindsided, whether it was a running back running past you. What was your aha moment if you can remember that far?
I would say Lorenzo Neal in practice, man. My
Oh,
first day
okay.
of practice went and passed because I held out during the offseason. So my first time seeing the rest of my teammates was the third practice fan night, and I heard all the chatter about me not being there, and I seen guys talking in the media about who this guy think he is. So I came in flying right the first day.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually I ran over Lorenzo Neal, and it's probably one of the biggest mistakes I made in my football career. Because that next play when we went back in 101s, I mean, I don't think I felt pain that way ever. So that was my normally I'm running through anybody, but that was my first time where I was like, okay, this is a whole different beast I'm dealing with here.
This is a
That
different
was
league
that,
right
that
here.
was a day that I realized I was in NFL.
Okay, all right, that's pretty cool. So throughout your years of playing sports, no, we don't have to limit it to your time with the Chargers or just throughout your years of playing sports. What was the best lesson you learned, Sean?
You know one thing about I'll tell you a funny story. So whenever I used to go, and this is when I retired, or sometime when I was playing too, and you'll go to a business meeting or something where you're talking business, and people would always use a football analogy, right?
Yep. Yep.
And if initially I used to get pissed off. I was like, man, I can understand what you guys are talking about. You don't have to use it
Sure.
as a football analogy. But after some time passed, man, I realized that football is probably one of the closest things to life there is.
Mm,
When you're dealing with injury, you gotta, you got team, learn how to play with a team, learn how to be on time, be, everywhere you're supposed to be. And it's
that
just,
discipline.
it's a discipline.
Right.
And also too, being in situations that you don't want to be in, you guys play for teams they don't want to play with. Guys play with teammates they don't necessarily want to play with. And you always gotta, figure out a way to overcome that obstacle. So, man, I would say football, just in general, is probably the closest thing you can get to comparing, real life.
So a lot of lessons there. Okay. So I didn't know this, but we talked about your start in MMA is because you like the training and you saw the physicality there that gravitated to you. I didn't know you was a boxer, Sean. I know.
No, so I grew up, man. My uncle Henry Sugar Poo Buchanan. Buchanan was a professional boxer. I had boxers, my family cousins. We had boxers in that D.C., Maryland, Virginia area that would pull out world champs. Joppy used to live right down the street from. We had a lot of really class, great boxers in my just neighborhood alone. So naturally, I grew up just boxing with them, or just having to fight in PG County in general, because that was right back then. But I didn't get into MMA until I got drafted by the Chargers, and then that's when I started to work with Jay Glazer had asked me one day to come out and start training, and then my first day training was with Randy Couture. That was my first day in the MMA gym, learning anything involving MMA, and I quickly learned, man, it's a very humbling sport, because you come in there and for me, I knew I was bigger and stronger and faster and more athletic than everybody, but how are these guys are able to toss me around, or why when they get me to the ground I can't get up, just little stuff like that. So it was very humbling. And I try to tell a lot of former NFL guys or former athletes in general, whether it's rugby or hockey, NHL, come over, man, come try out, some kind of discipline, man, because it's the competition and the being able to learn something every day is where it's really at.
Yeah. Speaking of that, what's one of the former players? I heard you mention that Tranquil's a guy you think on the Chargers team that could be successful. Who's some of the former players, NFL players or current players that you'd like to see come out?
I would love, man, if you get a Myles Garrett, if you get a Khalil Mack, if you get Aaron Donald, because Aaron Donald I think walk around about 280. He play around 285, so he can easily get down to 265 fighting weight. He'll be another one. So, it's some guys I think that will be great MMA guys.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So you named just all defensive guys right there. This takes me back to a conversation I had with Roger Saffold a couple years ago. Which position has the best athletes on the football field?
Well, I think the cornerbacks are the best athletes. They're the most athletic. They're the ones that can go and cover a wide receiver that runs a 4-3 or 4-4, running backwards, right?
Start,
changing direction, being able to flip your hips, open your hips, and stop on a drop of a dime, and also had a vision to go back and see the quarterback while you're covering somebody. So they're number one. But number two is the outside linebacker, pass rusher, because you're and especially in the 3-4 scheme, because you're asked to go against a 350-pound lineman, but you also might have to cover a running back or a tight end down the field
in the flats,
flats, or sometimes if they run in a seam down the middle, or they run some kind of Zampese or option route, you gotta be able to run with these guys, and you're 260 plus, 255 plus. So I would say the outside linebacker is the second.
So what Roger told me, he was kind of funny, because I was thinking cornerbacks too. I was thinking cornerbacks and receivers, but Roger was like, no, it's the D ends, it's those edge rushers. And he was without a doubt. He's like, I have to go up against these guys. So I see them. And yes, they have to, exactly what you just said. They have to be prepared to cover that running back who's going down the field or in the flats. And then they have to rush and get to the passer against these versatile big offensive linemen, offensive tackles. So yeah, you guys are right on the same accord, man. That's pretty cool. Did you play anything else growing up? Did you play any basketball?
I started playing basketball first. That was like my first love.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I actually played for DC Assault in the AAU, when I was growing up. The same Michael Beasley went through, Nolan Smith, I think Kevin KD.
Okay.
It was a lot of us that went through that circuit. So I grew up around ballers, man, and I actually got into football because I was fouling out every basketball game. And my coaches, I think I was like 11, 12 years old. They said, hey, you might want to go try this football thing out. And, I finally said, okay, cool. I'll go try it out. And that first hit, man, I said, oh my God, I was just, I couldn't believe that you could do something to somebody like this legally. I said, hold on. I looked at my coach. I remember my first big hit. I looked at my coaches. I said, am I gonna get in trouble for this? Like,
this is what you want me to do?
This one, I can do this for fun, and that's how I knew I was right at home.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Now, Shawne, people have been following you for the last. I've been following you for a little while now, but I say for the last year, specifically on social media. Your social media game is skyrocketed. What's your approach to social media? What clicked for you that bought you in and had you taken off like you have?
First and foremost, man, I love going back with other fans, Raider fans, Patriots fans, whoever. I mean, I believe that if you engage with people, man, whether they like you or dislike you, they respect that you at least reach back out to them, right?
Okay.
And it's because the fans and people, man, I think that we don't put enough emphasis in them, right? Because they the ones that come in, they come to football games, they buy tickets, they buy jerseys, they come, we sold out. Tomorrow will be sold out at LXF 6. We're sold out. They're ones watching on Fubo Sports, passing the word along. I mean, that's really why the following and social media and stuff that I have is there because good or bad, going back and forth with the fans. That's why it is.
Yeah, no. So let the people know where they can follow you, man. I got you on most platforms, but let the people know where they can follow you.
Yeah, they can follow me at Shawne Merriman on Twitter and Instagram, and follow us at Lights Out XF on Twitter and Instagram.
It's all comedy, folks. It's all comedy. It's well worth your time. This has been curious, Shawne, and I want you to help me out with this. I'm gonna do an article on this here pretty soon, but I've been curious about this particular topic. I just want to get your feedback, and you can decline to answer if you want to, but I think you're gonna answer this question for me. For pain relief, have you experienced, was it happening when you played, players using marijuana for pain relief versus recreational use? And what's the benefits of that? Can you talk about that?
Yeah. A lot of guys for pain relief, for depression, for whatever. I play with guys who got addicted to opiates, painkillers. And a couple I play with has been out in the public and big articles and stuff written on it. And I was watching them go through that, and it was painful to watch because people can't control that, or if they have a surgery or something like that, or something injured, and they just take it just for that moment and end up getting addicted to it. You much rather a guy go out and smoke marijuana or CBD. I've been the day that I stopped when I retired, I got on a nice CBD regimen. I've been on the CBD regimen for almost 8 years now, seven years.
Okay.
Close to 7 years. And I'm a big, advocate of that because, you using all this natural stuff. Marijuana is natural. It's natural, no matter if they want to call it a drug or not. And you much rather see a guy, not slamming down 3 or 4 pain pills and washing it down with alcohol or him smoke marijuana or some type of CBD or whatever regimen that's going to help him out. Right.
Okay. So, like the NBA has kind of relaxed their rules, their stringent rules against marijuana use. Do you expect the NFL to kind of quietly relax their rules, or do you see that in the future?
Yeah, it's coming. It's all a matter of time. It's not a if, it's when.
Okay.
I think that's really what it comes down to because the science and information is there.
Okay.
We can't deny that part of it anymore. I think with the NFL, when you got a company in business of that size, they're gonna move a little slower, right? They're gonna give you an inch, they're not just gonna jump out and give you a foot. They're gonna keep kind of feeding little things where they're opening up to the idea that marijuana can actually help some guys and not hurt them.
All right, that's pretty cool, man. Now you're the first subject that I want to talk about when I get to the story, and we can just do a deep dive on that topic specifically. I want to move into these Chargers here. What's your thoughts on Rashawn Slater, the rookie they have, and how would you kind of work your way around him? I'm sure you've seen him out there on the field and what he's done in practice with Bosa, on the field with Chase. What's your impression of him? And then again, tell me how you'd work around this guy.
It's funny because I am a fan of the game now. So once you mentally get removed from it, you don't physically put yourself out there on the field anymore. But the first game when he was playing against Chase Young, and I'm watching him block Chase Young, and so I'm watching little things. I'm seeing little things going on. I'm like, okay, what would I do against him? And the guy has great feet. He's strong as hell. He has a great balance. There's not really too many flaws in his steps. and his kick slide. He's not going with too much width. He's not going straight back, so you can't bull rush him. Is boom, 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 set, boom, 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 set. You know, he keeps his hands on you. If you start come up under, he keeps his hands on you the whole time. It was one particular pass rush that I watched for him and Chase Young. Chase Young was rushing him, and he hit him with a long arm bull. Like that's normally when you get a guy going back. And Rashawn Slater set back up. And this is when the football side of me came out and said he set back up, got off of the long arm bull, and then got chopped down, and then his balance was still there to get his hands back on Chase. Normally, if Chase Young was going against anybody else, that's a sack. That's 100% sack because you're waiting for an offensive lineman to start leaning forward too much. That way you can, kind of swat his hands down and go around him. He'll just fall on his face. Right. He set back. I said, okay, that was the only play in the game that I think that he would have beat. Chase Young would have beat 95% of the rest of the guys in the NFL.
So you saw what you needed to see on that one play.
That was it. That was the one. But that was as a pass rusher, that was a guaranteed sack. But to watch him set back up, not fall on his face and lose his balance, man, that dude is
pretty impressive. So you describe him as special. Would be your definition or your description for Rashawn Slater?
No, absolutely. And I've seen some great ones, man. I've seen Walter Jones and Orlando Pace and Willie Roaf. You put
them up there? You put them up there?
Man, I'm telling you, I see it.
Oh my goodness!
And he has a. Now he's not as big as Walter Jones is a mountain, right?
Right.
Well, these guys are mountains, and I used to see Marcus McNeil every day in practice. People forget how good he was. I mean, I used to see him every day in practice. Different body builds. So, and that's why I'm trying to really fit where Rashawn Slater fit in at, because he's not really built as big as a Walter Jones, but also he's not as tall and lanky as Marcus McNeil and Orlando Pace and those guys.
But you see the skill set, though.
Skill set is there. 100% there.
Okay. Now you say you follow the Chargers. They had an injury. Ibushi went down, and they brought in Michael Schofield, who was on the Baltimore Ravens training camp team, and he was on the couch for a couple of weeks. How difficult is that to get up off the couch and come in the game and do what he's done?
It's incredible because people, training camp is where you get your football legs, right? Because you get used to turning and changing directions. And the first week that you go and get back to start playing football again, not just working out, because you can't replicate that same football skill set if you're practicing. Like, you have to have real life action. So that first week in training camp, your groins, your back, your hamstrings, your quads, your ankles, all the little muscles will start firing. So to get off the couch and doing what he's doing right now in the game, is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I bet. I'm pretty amazed at. Now, what about Staley makes him a different coach than most others? What is it about Staley? I think his confidence, his energy that he has. I mean, he's a young guy. I'm just looking from afar. I played years ago. I didn't play at your level, but what do you see that makes this guy a different coach?
You know what? When he called me, when they brought him in initially, he called me that night. We talked on the phone for about 20 minutes or so, and you never know what somebody's going to do when the actual time comes and how many games they're going to win or whatever. But just talking to him that very first time, I knew right then and there that we had something. They had something with the Chargers, right? This guy, in his attitude, his enthusiasm, his energy, you felt it through the phone talking to him. And I was like, man, he's ready to go and start coaching tomorrow. He's ready to put together a game plan tomorrow. And the good thing is he got these guys buying in, and that's hard for a first-year coach, because most first-year coaches think you got to come in and have everything a certain way and be, I want it this way or my way or the highway. Those kind of coaches are in and out the league, man. You come in, try to put your foot down and have things go like you want it to go, you're going to be in and out. Yeah. He came in and he got guys to buy in. I think their quote is something about it's our way or something like that. Yeah, our way. Yeah. And that's what you need. You need the guys, you need the players, the team to buy in, and they're buying in.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, man. Do you sense something special? I sense something special about this team or I may be just caught up in the moment because I'm with him every week. I see the intricacies that he's talking about, the kind of intangibles. But do you notice something special about these guys?
Absolutely. When I went during training camp, and the energy there, the building was different. It was different from the other years. In the past recent years, I've been there and been around the organization. It feels different walking into that building. You feel like you got a superstar in Justin Herbert. You feel like you got a superstar in Derwin James. They feel confident in Kenneth Murray and Bosa. It's a confidence level that's going around in that building, and it hasn't been there over the last 5 years. It really hasn't. And then two, you realize that the horses that you got, right? He walked in with a Ferrari. He walked in the keys to a Ferrari, and he's driving that thing. He's backing it up and parking it. I mean, he's whipping that thing around. That's what he's doing with it. Truthfully, they should be sitting at 5-1. I hate to bring that Dallas game up, and they probably won't talk about it, but the game was taken away from them, so they should be going into this bye, at 5-1. And if you go into a bye with getting healthy again at 5-1 towards getting there to the middle point of the season, you're in really good shape.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So the reason you're Burbank, the reason you got the whole Marriott behind you is because you got LA Lights Out Extreme Fighting 6. The fight card is this Saturday in Burbank. Talk about this card. What makes this so exciting?
Man, you're right, man. Tomorrow's going to be special because we got 3 title defenses on the line. We got 3 titles on the line for tomorrow. I talked a little bit, last time we spoke just about the pandemic and how much it crushed us and kind of set us back, and guys need fights. And, we got some guys who can go, flat out go. I think that Albert Morales fight and Henry is going to be special. I can't wait for people to really pay attention to John Paul Bosnian. He's another one. I think he's fighting Brock, and Brock won in our last fight, LXF 5. He's a tremendous talent too. He got hands. He's a boxer. His jabs are nice and stiff. He's super basic and simple, but he's effective. John Paul Bosnian, he's a star. This guy's gonna be a champ one day. He's trained with Conor McGregor, and he's been around. His dad is also a trainer, a longtime trainer, been around for a very long time. Diaz, I mean, our undercard is just as crazy. I mean, these guys from top to bottom, this is probably our biggest, not probably, it is our biggest fight since the existence of Lights Out Extreme Fighting.
Man, congratulations on the growth. Now, again, part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders out there. Now you relocated to Vegas. I didn't know that. I'll be out there next week. Caleb Plant. Are you going to be at the Caleb Plant? And
I'll be gone. I'll be in Canada. I'll be in Canada, but I think that it's going to be Canelo's biggest match. The problem I think that Caleb's going to have is can he effectively hurt Canelo with any power shots? That's he's going to box him. He's going to get some shots in, but is those shots going to hurt him? Because Canelo going to walk right up and he's going to walk right through you. He's going to take those shots and give them right back. That part, I don't think that Caleb's going to be able to. I don't think Caleb's going to be able to handle Canelo's power. That's really the biggest thing.
He has 3 rounds to do it. And that's my prediction is about what you said. He has 3 rounds to hurt him because Canelo's going to give him 3 rounds, just kind of filling them out and seeing exactly what he has. And as you mentioned, he's going to take some punches. And can he hurt him in those early rounds? If he doesn't hurt him early,
I'm calling this. I think this one's a 7. I think Canelo finishing in the seventh round.
That's about it. It's going to be an exciting fight. But now again, you moved to Vegas. Part owner of the Raiders. You still big ambassador.
Now I'm not part owner of the Raiders, really. By the way.
Okay. Oh well.
Yeah. Not really, but I have been talking to two.
Okay. Oh, not quite yet.
Yeah. I have been talking to 2 organizations. I would love to get involved.
Well, shit. I mean, if you move in there, you got some things is happening. Some things is happening. Okay, but you're out in Vegas now. You again, still ambassador with the Chargers, and your social media, as I mentioned, is booming. It's been really crazy over there. I'm going to compliments to you. What has been your reception? And obviously, you got the Lights Out Extreme Fighting going on. What's been your reception from the fans when you see the fans on the streets? What are they coming at you? What are they talking about to you most? Is it the Lights Out Extreme Fighting? Is it still NFL football? Is it the Raiders, Chargers? What are they getting at you about?
Yeah, well, anytime anybody see me, they always ask about, my picks and what I think of what's going on in NFL, certain players. They'll start off with that, but then the next thing they'll say after that, like, hey, when's you guys' next fight? Okay. Because, first we were just on regional TV, and now, with Fubo Sports, we're national and international. So, and it was, for me, the reason I love this the most, because, I'm from Prince George's County, Maryland. And, when I go back and people see my social media, but they can never watch the fights. So when I go back home to see my family or go to the University of Maryland, which, I spend a lot of time back at now, they always ask me, hey, how can we see your fights? And we're regional, in certain parts of the country, so they couldn't see it. But now, everybody can download and get the Fubo TV app, right, and watch us from anywhere.
Oh, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. We talked about you getting some NFL players, former NFL players or current NFL players out there in the ring with you. But how do you typically go about recruiting these fighters? Is the events recruiting themselves? And let's start there. How do you go about recruiting the fighters that's in there?
I mean, I joke around on my social media about, saying sign them up. Sign them up. But, the truth of the matter is that there's going to be a lot of former professional athletes over the next 12 months. There's going to be coming over, to Lights Out or just transitioning to MMA in general. And I'll tell you, I've been a big advocate. I think that, especially guys who get done early, who show their careers and still want to go, there's opportunity in the sport now. There wasn't, when I came out and I was asking for the money that I asked for to fight in 2013, everybody looked at me like, you never fought before. How are we going to pay you this? And I'm saying, well, if you got a name and people want to watch you scrap and people buy pay-per-views, you can request the type of money.
Right.
And now it's just normal. If you come out and you're a former professional athlete, NHL, hockey, rugby, basketball, whatever it is, track, and you got a name behind you, a big social media star, people are paying because they realize the uptick you'll get in doing pay-per-views like that.
That's super. Shawne, I'm not going to take too much. I'm not going to take any more of your time. I want to thank you once again for coming on with me, Voice of the Fans. Once again, let the people know where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, find me at Shawne Merriman on Twitter and Instagram, and at Lights Out XF on social media too. And then tomorrow, live on Fubo Sports. People can check that out. I think we start around 5:30 or 6. It'll be like, I got to check the time now because we got a couple undercards. Fights are not going to make TV, but tomorrow Fubo Sports live.
The man, Lights Out, Extreme Fighting, the man, the maker, the myth, the legend. Thank you for your time, Shawne, and I'll be in touch. I'll see you tomorrow, big guy.
That's right. I'll see you tomorrow, man. It's going to be a show.
All right, Chief. Thank you.
You got it.